So I had more than one reason for wanting to change out the original Molex with the power poles. And one was the Molexes. If you've ever dealt with one, you know that they're a pain to remove, which is good in a mobile situation where you're not going to be moving the rig. It's not good when you're trying to make something that's modular and be able to take it out. I want to be able to use this to take out and take it hiking with me and go do some POTA stuff and go out with the guys from the radio club. The second reason was one of the things that came with this large lot of radio gear when I got it all at once was this power analyzer watt meter. And the guy who'd picked all this stuff out had got this to go along with a Bioenno battery. And I was thinking originally that I was going to mount this on here. So I was going to cut a hole and I was going to take this and I was going to bottom mount it underneath. And then I came up with this other idea. I was going to shuck it. I was going to remove the case from it. And I got it in there and I started measuring things. And I was going to have to make an entire enclosure for it. I was going to wind up with it running into my coax cable. You can see it's already sticking out the end here. So that wasn't ideal. So I started thinking maybe I'll figure out a way to mount it in the back, or maybe I'll just toss it in the pack with me and I'll have all this stuff sitting around and laying out. So instead what I came up with was I want to make a little bracket. I thought maybe a panel. I would make it out of the Kydex, the same material here. And I could make it to where it was opening, but it would restrict airflow. Well, it's open on the bottom, so I still get some airflow, but everything I'm doing here is restricting airflow. And the next idea that I came up with is to make a bracket. And so I wound up going down to one of the big box stores. In this case, it was the Blue store. And they were the ones that had it because the orange store, while I was in there returning something, didn't have this particular size in stock. I don't know if they even carry it in stock. So I found some 1/8 inch angle aluminum, 1/8 inch thick. And it is 1.5 by 1.5 inches. See here? Never mind the scratches. I'll buff those out or I'll sandblast and anodize this. I got this little guy. And I kind of just measured it out a little bit by using Vibe. But I got the caliper out and measured this as best I could while fitting in there and just got a tape measure and kind of checked it out. So I first could only get 8 foot of this. So I wound up cutting off 154 millimeters wide. And it just so happens to fit in here just right. Well, going to interfere with these M-lock connectors, or these M-lock nuts, these M-lock channels. So I went ahead and I measured it all out as best I could, and then I took and I scratched. There we go, a little bit easier to see there. Scratched into there the little rectangle. Yeah, the little rectangles are going to get removed so that will be a rectangle in the same size as the M-lock channel. And what I'm going to do is on my lunch break, I'm going to grab a height gauge. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to take that height gauge and put it on the same level and plane as the top and the bottom of that screen. And I'm going to slide the surface along the back just to put a scratch on there. I'm going to figure out about where I want this centered, and then I will have channels to take this and put it on. Now this power connector will be onto the power pole adapter. And the fun part about this is it's going to be difficult because that is a tiny hole. I think I was measuring like 0.89 or 0.9, so like 3/32 or slightly smaller. I'm gonna have to find something that can fit through there, so I'll need to find a screw, and then I'll just mount that up under the back here so that I will be able to plug the power pole connections in the vehicle, or directly from the battery, or using a cable or fused link from here to whatever power source I'm going to. And the other end will be plugged into there, and this will be mounted onto this facing out. So I'm really hoping that this turns out nice. The only thing that I am really concerned about is I still do not like the way that is bent. I don't like that U shape on there. I would prefer that it be more consistent, maybe not as sharp. I'm going to see if I can't maybe order a custom made 90 degree PL259 6-inch long cable, because I made this one a little bit too short. And the next thing that I did here too, so we'll move right along. I didn't know how I was going to mount the DR891. So I just used some hook and loop. Plain Velcro little hook and loop straps that you can get from, I got these at a Rural King, so a farm store. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon or something. I just attached it on here until I can come up with something better. I don't want it protruding from the front. That's a big goal, and the issue that I keep coming up across is the stress reliefs on the cables are hitting the underside of the tuner. If I had just a little bit more space, I could clamp this in here. Maybe I need to make something that just holds it. Again, here I go over complicating things. This is the KISS method. This is how I'm going to use it until I'm certain that everything's working and functional, and then we'll go from there. I still have room over here to run my microphone cable down, so that's kind of important because the microphone connection is down there. Anyhow, that's all I got for this one. If you have any questions, or if you would like to see more content about my Manpack or other ham radio related stuff, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and turn on your notifications, because I've been trying to post more videos about this that keeps me moving along on the project. Thanks for watching.